Life took a turn for the worse when I was forced into this hellish training. You might wonder why I did not just quit, but the truth is I never really had a choice. Meanwhile, I am stuck working at this cold, lifeless logistics center. The robots here are relentless, flagging every little thing as an error. I just try to keep my head down and do my job. There's just no warmth in this place, none at all. It all started 2 months ago, right after I was discharged from the military. But that joy was short-lived. My parents moved away, leaving me to fend for myself in a tiny apartment. I had these grand, naive dreams of a simple life, but reality hit hard when I could not even land a basic part-time job. My sisters did not make it any easier, constantly mocking my situation. Then they mentioned this delivery company and I figured, why not? I never imagined it'd be taking orders from a robot. Manager Shin is just as cold as the machines. Honestly, the robot feels more human than he does. I was just doing my rounds when things got weird. Suddenly, the warehouse door slammed shut on its own. I tried to call for help, but there was no signal. I was completely locked in. I tried to reach out to my sister, but the conversation took a terrifying turn. She said she heard a building collapsing outside. Then the world outside started to fall apart. The alarm started blaring and I knew something was horribly wrong. I was trapped listening to the chaos from the inside. I screamed for help, but no one could hear me. My phone was useless and the panic started to set in. At that moment I felt it, a presence that was not human. I knew if I made a single sound I was dead. 3 days passed in that silent, terrifying void. I was running out of battery and I thought this was the end. But then a strange message appeared in my vision. I thought I had finally lost my mind. I was desperate, so I accepted the prompt. The world shifted and I was thrown into a wasteland. I had no idea where I was, but it was not the warehouse anymore. Then I saw it, a shadow looming over me. A massive bloodthirsty orc was standing right behind me. I ran for my life, screaming as it hunted me down. Just as it was about to catch me, the system gave me an option. I did not hesitate. I chose to enter the subspace. I felt a surge of energy as I crossed the threshold. The orc was locked out, unable to follow me inside. I was the master of this space now. I survived, but my life had changed forever. I am trapped in this logistics center, but the system just gave me a reward. I just received a mana stone for completing the tutorial. A mana stone? What is this thing? Suddenly an orc attacks, but it cannot break through the barrier. I need to be sure this barrier will hold against that monster. The system reveals the facility's specs and it is massive. Wait, the facility only has 2 minutes left until maintenance. I can use the mana stone to power the facility and keep it running. 1 stone gives me 24 hours of power. That is a huge relief. Is PAX getting smarter? It feels like it is adapting. The power to the facility was cut off and that is a disaster. If the power dies, all the food in PAX Fresh will spoil. In this war zone, food is the only thing that matters for survival. I have to keep this place running no matter what. I asked how to get more mana stones and it said from beings of another world. The orc is still right there, trapped behind the shield. I use the stone to keep the facility alive. I need to find a weapon to deal with that thing. I found some axes and knives, but they might not be enough. Throwing them is my only option, but I am low on stock. I do not need to kill it in one shot, just wound it enough to finish it later. Time to put my special forces training to the test. The axe barely scratched it. Those muscles are like armor. I need something heavier to make a real impact. Only 15 axes left. I have to be careful with my ammo. Wait, why are the axes duplicating? The system says these items are just information, so they cannot be depleted. This is an infinite stock logistics center. I am unstoppable now. I can just throw these axes freely without worrying about running out. The system says I can even ship them automatically. Shipping is a skill. This changes everything. I commanded it to ship and it took that orc down instantly. The speed is incredible, 60 km/h. I can even upgrade the speed with more mana stones. The monster is finally down. Now it is time to move. I geared up with some tactical equipment. I have got a map of Seoul and it is time to plan my route. I have marked the districts I need to hit first. I am starting from Gunpo. I hope everyone is still safe. I found an electric bicycle. It is my new ride. I am heading out. The youngest is coming for them. 30 minutes after escaping the subspace, I have already taken down 12 orcs. I have learned 2 things while hunting them. First, my ability to enter the subspace is a total game changer. It is a perfect defensive barrier, but it has its limits. Then there is the shipment ability, which is honestly overpowered. It is hard to hit moving targets with a cooldown, but I can upgrade it. And I discovered product retrieval, which automatically brings back my items. Even mana stones can be retrieved once the enemy is dead. It feels like I am just collecting money from these monsters. But the second thing I learned is that the creatures out here are not just orcs. Something with wings is hunting in the sky. Then I heard a human scream for help. A man was being chased by a terrifying wyvern. I had to act fast before he was killed. The beast seemed to be targeting him specifically. It was ignoring me to go for the easier kill. I only had a tiny knife, but I had to distract it. So I used my bicycle bell to draw its attention. Then I launched my attack. One clean throw with an axe was all it took to end it. Thank goodness it died in one hit. I checked on the survivors and they were in shock. They could not believe I took down a wyvern while riding a bike. I told them I am not a soldier, just a PAX FC employee. They were curious about my skills, so I claimed it was just a driver ability. They told me most of the people in the logistics center were already dead. The survivors are hiding in the underground terminal. They invited me to join them for safety. I do not need their food, but I desperately need information on vehicles. I decided to go with them even though I do not fully trust them yet. But when I arrived, I saw a face I did not recognize. Something about this group feels dangerous. I checked on the survivors and they were in shock. They could not believe I took down a wyvern while riding a bike. They told me most of the people in the logistics center were already dead. The survivors are hiding in the underground terminal and invited me to join them. But when I arrived, I saw a face I did not recognize. They introduced me as the one who saved them from the wyvern. They were curious about my skills, so I claimed it was just a driver ability. They were stunned by the sheer power of my strike. I decided to go with them even though I do not fully trust them yet. They were incredibly grateful for the rescue. They kept thanking me, but I just brushed it off. I told them I am not a soldier, just a PAX FC employee. They explained that the group had been together for over 10 years. The center manager Lee Jin-mok introduced himself. He welcomed me and introduced Kim Jeongyum. They offered me food and a place to rest. They claimed to have plenty of supplies from the center. I hesitated, then decided to ask the manager about the center. I told them the truth. The logistics center had disappeared without a trace. They were completely baffled by the news. I insisted that it was literally gone, which explained the wyvern chase. They could not fathom how such a massive building could just vanish. The manager noted that with monsters everywhere, anything is possible. I asked him what the plan was now. He said we had to dig through the tunnel to escape. They were determined to force their way through. I asked about vehicles since they are essential for survival. He said vehicles were everywhere, but the roads were blocked. The northeast and south routes were all impassable. The western tunnel was our only exit, but it was crawling with wyverns. I realized I needed to clear that tunnel myself. He suggested I did not have to go through the tunnel, but I insisted. If it is just wyverns, I can handle it. I knew I could not hide my strength forever. I did not want to show them my abilities, but I had to be careful. They had struggled to survive while I was trapped. They would not reveal their exact supplies, which made me cautious. I decided to go on a scouting mission to assess the tunnel. I planned to use my ability to clear the way. I checked the system. I could reduce the cooldown with 5 magic stones. I found new upgrades like precise delivery and simultaneous delivery. These abilities were incredibly powerful. I decided to secretly hunt wyverns to get more stones. I rode off with Jeongyum on the bike. He warned me it was dangerous to go alone. He said he trusted me to save them again. He asked if I could see the system windows. I told him I had a feeling for how to drive. We headed out into the dark, ruined city. The bike moved fast, but something felt wrong. I sensed danger immediately. Jeongyum was driving recklessly. He said he could not see because of the cars. I shouted at him to look ahead. There was a wyvern right in our path. He asked if we should keep going. I could not see it, but I knew we were in trouble. A wyvern landed right on the car in front of us. It lunged at us, but we barely dodged. We were surrounded by them. I told him not to look back. We finally spotted the tunnel. It was closer than I thought. We came to a sudden stop. I realized why. Jeongyum was terrified. We were completely surrounded by wyverns. They were screeching, ready to kill. Jeongyum thought it was over. There was no way to outrun them. He was paralyzed with fear. I could not hide my power anymore. I used my stones to upgrade my shipment ability. Jeongyum watched in confusion. The wyverns attacked. We were almost caught. I focused on the target. I commanded the system to ship. I braced for the impact. Jeongyum was stunned. The shipment arrived, clearing the path. I am burning through mana stones to max out my delivery cooldown. 5 seconds. That is all I need. To get faster, I will need to upgrade the subspace itself. Jeongyum and I head out into the dark, ruined city. I warn him stay right beside me. It is the only way I can keep him alive. Suddenly I sense it. It is coming. A massive wyvern lunges at us from the shadows. We are completely surrounded by them. I have to deploy my shield to deflect the attack. The impact is brutal, but the shield holds. We are sent flying, but I am not going down yet. They are circling for the kill. I am done hiding my strength. Jeongyum is terrified, but I am locked in. I command the system to ship. The path is about to be cleared. Jeongyum watches in total shock at my power. He realizes these monsters are nothing to me. He is jealous, wishing he had that kind of power to save his own family. Even the wyverns are starting to retreat. Jeongyum is dangerous, but he is useful for now. I spot a mana stone, exactly what I need. I explain that I use them to enhance my abilities. He realizes I could clear the tunnel on my own. I did not mean to show off, but the situation forced my hand. We need to head back before they attack again. He asks where I am going, and I tell him. Yuejongbu. He is headed for Indiaquan right on the way. He asks if I will take him with me. I am a driver, not a fighter, I tell him. He offers to handle the monsters if I handle the driving. It is not a bad idea. It gives me an excuse to keep my true power hidden. I am cautious, but I decide to trust him. He is thrilled, but I have one condition. I am clearing that tunnel by myself. I tell him to handle the others while I work. He tells them I will handle it despite my request for secrecy. I cannot believe he just spilled my secret. Now everyone is looking at me and I am definitely screwed. I double down. The tunnel will be cleared by morning. The director promises not to pry into my abilities. They hand me their precious food supplies as a thank you. I try to refuse, but they insist. They remind me that they have families too. We toast to a safe arrival. I grab my gear ready to finish this. I tell them to get inside while I do the work. I ride toward the tunnel alone. I will be back. I head out on my bike into the dark, ruined city determined to clear the path ahead. But the city is crawling with wyverns and they are everywhere. I keep my focus knowing I have to handle this situation carefully. Back at the base, the kids are bickering again, but it is just another day in this hell. The director tries to keep the peace, but the tension is always there. He tells them how much he envies their bond, even if they do not see it yet. He reminds them that family is precious, especially when the world is falling apart. Then the mood shifts as they get back to the reality of surviving. The director is struggling and I can see the weight of it all on him. I need to find a way to get some space, so I head out. But I notice something is off and Jeongyum is nowhere to be found. They tell me he went out for air, but I know better. I track him down and he is clearly on edge. I call out to him and he jumps, startled by my presence. He is exhausted, but he cannot bring himself to sleep. We look over the supplies I have gathered and he is stunned by the sheer amount. I tell him it is only half of what I have and it should be enough for now. He cannot believe I have filled 15 vehicles all by myself. I warn him to keep it a secret, but he is already questioning what I am. Suddenly a wyvern strikes and I have to react instantly. I deploy my shield and the impact is massive, but I hold my ground. I wish I could just move these people to safety, but I am not strong enough yet. I check the system and I am close to the level I need to protect others. I just need more mana stones to hit that next milestone. There are about 40 wyverns left and I am hunting them down one by one. My precision delivery upgrade is the only reason I am surviving this. I have to level up no matter what it takes. Then I spot something different, a larger, more dangerous wyvern. Is that a leader or just an adult? Either way, it is trouble. Back at the base, they are worried sick about me, but then they see me returning and the relief is palpable. I am covered in blood, but I am alive and ready to finish this. The director thanks everyone, hoping they will make it home safely. I tell them to check the cargo hold if they run into trouble. I have left them a gift. We start the convoy, moving out toward the tunnel. I am still thinking about that massive wyvern I saw earlier. We pass the bodies of fallen soldiers, a grim reminder of the stakes. The road is a graveyard of vehicles and monsters, making progress slow. Suddenly, the path ahead is blocked by military-grade barbed wire. We find a bridge, but it is occupied by a pack of monsters. I realize why they blocked the road. It is a trap. We are stuck on a narrow path, but I have an idea to get us through. I tell them not to turn back because I have found a way. We are going through and I am ready to clear the way. I tell Jeongyum that this route is our best bet, so we are pushing through. But the road is swarming with monsters and they are closing in fast. I am not holding back anymore. It is time to show them what I can really do. Jeongyum is confused by my plan, but I am dead set on crossing this bridge. I compare our situation to a strategy game, keeping him calm while I prepare. I command the system to deploy a massive shipment right into the heart of the swarm. I am burning through my mana stones to upgrade my delivery system on the fly. The shipping speed is maxed out now and the carnage is just beginning. I am literally launching heavy cargo at these monsters and it is devastating. Precision delivery is great, but I have realized it needs a bit of a manual touch. Who needs an axe when I can just drop a refrigerator on them? With my automatic shipping upgraded, this is almost too easy. Jeongyum is losing his mind watching me weaponize household appliances. He is starting to wonder if my supply of gear is actually infinite. I offer him some food, trying to keep things civil despite the chaos outside. He finally asks the big question: is my stock really infinite? I play it cool, telling him I just do not want to leave junk on the road. We share a snack and I can tell he is still reeling from what he just saw. He is relieved that he will finally be able to see his family again. I remind him that he cannot show up to see them covered in monster guts, so I decide to help him out with a fresh change of clothes. He looks like a completely different person now and he is ready to go. The path is clear, so we are not wasting another second. I floor it and we leave the nightmare behind us. I tell him to hold on tight because we are going to be there in 20 minutes. We speed through the ruined city, leaving the monsters in our dust. He is feeling a bit motion sick, but there is no time to slow down. Finally, we arrive at our destination. The building is in ruins, but there are no bodies here. Yangsu is terrified to open the door, fearing what he might find inside. His hand trembles as he reaches for the keypad. I can see the fear in his eyes. He is paralyzed by the possibility of loss. He drove like a madman to get here, desperate to reach his family, but now that he is at the threshold, he cannot bring himself to face the truth. He is completely frozen, unable to turn the handle. He is wishing it was him instead of them. I step in offering to do it for him. He nods, unable to speak, just needing to know. Nobody wants to confirm their worst fears even with a tiny sliver of hope. If it were me, I'd want someone else to rip that bandage off too. I reach out and press the doorbell. The door clicks open, and there they are, alive. His wife and daughter appear, and the relief is overwhelming. They cannot believe their eyes, thinking he might be a ghost. The tears just start pouring down his face. He pulls them into an embrace, finally letting go. They are sobbing, asking how he even made it back. He is completely broken, just holding onto them for dear life. She explains she heard him and looked through the peephole. The daughter is crying, telling her dad she hates him for making them worry. Then they notice me standing there in the shadows. He introduces me as the benefactor who brought him home. Suddenly the world starts to fade and I collapse. Jeongyum calls out to me, panicked. Flashback to a funeral. The weight of loss is heavy, but parting is not just about sadness. It is about the gratitude for the time we shared. We do not have to say goodbye with only tears. It is about finding gratitude in the memories. Love is about caring without expecting anything back. One day he will understand that love is not easy. Back in the present, I am having a vivid dream. It is a memory of fighting with my sister. Pillow fights and bickering, just normal sibling stuff. She is always hitting me too hard. She calls me a crybaby even though she is the one who started it. She always wins and I am left fuming. But from my parents' view, we are just getting along. Then mom calls us for dinner and the tension just vanishes. A warm meal, a full table, the simple things. Mom tells us to put the phones away and eat. She teases us about having crushes. We are watching a fight on TV, completely absorbed, talking about middle school and sports clubs. I picked my school just for the boxing club. Middle school felt like such a huge milestone. The day of the entrance ceremony finally arrived. The banner was up and everything felt perfect. Walking with friends, feeling like we own the world. The uniform felt so crisp and new. I was ready for anything, but then reality hit. A punch to the face and the dream turns into a nightmare. They are ganging up on me. I am on the ground taking hit after hit, but then I see a hand reaching out. Someone is stopping them. It is someone I recognize, someone strong. They look at me with cold, determined eyes. They tell me I need to start training. I wake up in a cold sweat, gasping for air. The sunlight is streaming through the trees. I realize I am back in the world of the living and the memories are fading. I see my family waving goodbye as I head off. I got the notification. I passed. Everyone is celebrating and it is pure joy. Then I am back at the computer typing away. Someone hands me an envelope. I open it and my heart stops. They are all there smiling at me. They tell me to stay safe, not to get hurt. They tell me not to be discouraged. I am crying, but I do not know why. I drift back into sleep. I wake up again completely disoriented. Where am I? Did I faint? My memory is so hazy. Someone asks if I am awake. I look up and see them. The family I just saved. I finally wake up to find the family I saved safe and sound. They seem surprised to see me, but the tension in the room is finally fading. I realize I must have fainted from exhaustion after the journey. She asks if I am okay, noting that I just collapsed and fell asleep. I check my gear and wonder how long I have been out. It turns out I was only under for about 3 hours. She tells me her husband already explained how much I helped them. She is incredibly grateful, but I know I could not have done it without Yangsu. Yangsu insists that I saved his life and he is clearly still emotional. He wants to share a meal with me before we talk any further. He invites me to eat and I cannot refuse his kindness. The smell of the food is incredible, a rare luxury in this world. It is conger eel stew, the best thing I have had in months. He apologizes for the limited ingredients, but it is perfect. They have already eaten, so they leave me to enjoy the meal in peace. The first bite is a revelation, a surge of flavor and emotion. The balance of flavors is just incredible. It feels so cozy, almost like home. I finish the meal feeling refreshed and ready to move on. It was the best meal I have had since leaving the military. We discuss our next steps, starting with his destination in Gangnam. I offer to drive him there, but he has a different plan. He needs to go further to Uijeongbu and he needs my help to get there. He suggests we talk outside to finalize the plan. We look at the truck, planning our next move together. The condition is simple. I provide the transport and he helps me out. He is willing to do whatever it takes to get his family to safety. I have to ask, why is he willing to take such a risk? He acknowledges my driving skills but warns me about the dangers ahead. He does not want me to risk everything unnecessarily. I press him on why he is so invested in helping me. He reminds me that I saved his life and he wants to return the favor. He knows he would not have made it this far without me. We realize we are in the same boat, both trying to protect our own. He acknowledges my ability but knows it is still a hard road. We agree that helping each other is the only way to survive. He promises not to be reckless, but he is ready to go. We part ways for now, but the deal is set. I grab the keys, ready to hit the road again. I head out the road ahead, looking as dangerous as ever. I explain my subspace ability to him, showing him what I can really do. I can duplicate items, which is a game changer for us. I lay out my conditions. He stays with me until we find everyone. I need his help, and I can level up my ability to bring them along. Defeating those monster dogs gave me the points I needed to level up. He is all in, he will bring his family, and we will move together. Subspace level 2 achieved, and the possibilities are expanding. I open the portal and they step through into safety. I introduce them to Pax, my AI assistant. Pax will handle everything they need while they stay here. They cannot believe everything here is infinite. I tell them to take a break while I check my new abilities. They are relieved and ready to settle in. I unlock the subspace lab and the real work begins. My subspace ability is evolving and it is becoming something truly powerful. I can store objects and access them whenever I need, and nothing can enter my space unless I specifically allow it. But after merging with the system, my ability has gained incredible new functions. I can even hurl items at high speeds as a weapon. Meeting Pax changed everything, making my potential limitless. I can even unlock a subspace lab to transform items. The possibilities for crafting and upgrading are endless. I just need more mana stones to unlock all these new features. It is hard to believe I can store such massive things now. I wonder, could I even store something as massive as the Earth? The system asks for confirmation to designate the target. I decide to go for it and try to store it, but it fails. The target is simply too large for my current range. I knew it was a long shot, but I had to test the limits. Meanwhile, I discuss our route to Gangnam with Yangsu. I ask about his daughter and he seems hesitant to talk. She is sleeping peacefully, finally feeling safe for a moment. We both know we are just helping each other survive this nightmare. He promises to help me in return and I appreciate his loyalty, but his sudden seriousness makes me feel a bit uneasy. He claims he is the fastest driver around, which is a bold statement. I ask him to slow down, but he insists on keeping the pace. We decide to speed up and push forward. The road ahead is desolate and dangerous. We travel through an undeveloped area to avoid monsters. Suddenly, we encounter military barricades blocking our path. Are there still soldiers left in this area? The equipment is military, but the people look like scavengers. We cannot avoid them, so we have to be ready for anything. I open a portal for him to hide while I deal with them. They approach us, clearly interested in our cargo. They are disappointed we did not crash and they demand we open the truck. They order me to open the cargo, thinking they have hit the jackpot. They see the supplies and their greed takes over. They think it is all theirs now, but they have no idea who they are dealing with. They demand to know where I got these supplies. I tell them it is from a logistics center, but they will not find it. They decide to take me to their leader, and I do not resist. I take a hit to keep up the act, but I am ready to strike back. They bring me before their commander. The atmosphere is tense, and I am being watched closely. The commander questions me about the supplies. I maintain my story about the logistics center. He seems impressed by my resourcefulness. He tells me to wait, saying someone else is coming. Suddenly, a massive wyvern appears and the commander is terrified. I cannot believe the size of that thing. He admits he almost died fighting it. He explains how the military failed to stop it. He took over because he was the only one who could survive. He wants me to go back to the center and get more food. He offers me a place in his group, but I have my own plans. I decide to store their entire headquarters in my subspace. The commander is left in shock, not knowing what just happened. The air suddenly shifts and a massive, terrifying presence descends upon us. The soldiers look up in pure terror as the sky darkens. I watch as the entire building suddenly vanishes into thin air. The commander is left in total shock, wondering where his headquarters went. I feel the heavy toll of using my ability to store something so massive. It is a dangerous side effect, but I have to keep moving. The commander realizes something is coming, and he is terrified. A massive wyvern descends, its presence dwarfing everything around us. The beast lets out a deafening screech that shakes the ground. Chaos erupts as everyone scrambles to escape. The commander screams for his men to open fire on the smaller ones. I realize that guns will not be enough, but maybe my ability can help. The wyvern lunges and the commander is left helpless. It towers over the battlefield, a true nightmare made flesh. Its eyes lock onto us, cold and predatory. I manage to create a portal, pulling us into safety just in time. The system asks for permission and I do not hesitate. I am exhausted, but we made it out alive. I need to be more careful with the aftereffects of storing things. We watch as the wyvern continues its rampage outside. It is staring right at the portal as if it knows we are there. I decide to fight back, unleashing everything I have got. My physical strength has leveled up and I am ready to take it on. I am not running away this time. I strike and the impact is devastating. The exhaustion hits me, but I have to keep going. We find a survivor, someone from the military. He is in bad shape, likely tortured by those scavengers. We lay him down to rest, hoping he will pull through. He is suffering from severe malnutrition, so we need to get him food. We notice a massive new building has appeared in our space. It is huge, and we have no idea what is inside. I realize I accidentally stored a whole military base. I grab a bike to explore the massive new area. The possibilities for gear and supplies are endless. Guns, ammo, vehicles. It is a goldmine for survival. But it is not a logistics center, so we will have to search for everything. It is even bigger than I imagined. Pax is already helping us organize the new sector. A new system is being applied to integrate everything. I realize I can duplicate the weapons and ammo just like before. The process is slow, but it is worth the wait. I prioritize the essentials: rifles, grenades, and fuel. I restrict access to these items, keeping them secure. The wyverns are still out there, and they are not backing down. I pick up a rifle ready to test my skills. We have thousands of rounds ready for the fight. It is time to show these monsters what we are made of. I open fire, and the rapid fire is intense. It is tough, but we are holding our own. We have got the situation under control for now, but the big one is still missing, and that worries me. The nightmare is not over yet. The wyverns are still out there, and they are not backing down. I cannot see them anywhere. Are they hiding? Let us use a remote-controlled toy as bait to draw them out. If it shows up, we can deal with it decisively. I have got an idea. We set up the bait and wait for a reaction. Suddenly something moves. It was hiding. The wyvern lunges at the bait. It is relentless, and it has already tasted our supplies. I lock eyes with the beast, ready to fight. The wyvern towers over us, a true nightmare. It lets out a deafening screech that shakes the ground. I grab my rifle, determined to hold my ground. Shoot it. We open fire on the monster. The rapid fire is intense, but it is barely phasing the beast. We keep pouring lead into it, hoping for a weak spot. The smoke clears, but the wyvern is still standing. It lets out another terrifying roar. It slams into our position, forcing us to scramble. How is it still standing after all that firepower? Is its hide really that thick? Wait, our attacks are not just being deflected. They are being blocked. Something is protecting it. It is like an invisible shield. The wyvern prepares to strike again. It is too fast, and we are running out of options. All right, let us see who wins this. We are limitless here, so let us throw everything we have got. We unleash a barrage of explosives. Take this. The grenades hit their mark. The explosion is massive. The wyvern is caught in the blast. Everything is shaking. I am exhausted, but we might have finally done it. Throwing grenades is harder than it looks. Is the monster finally down? It is still there, but it is wounded. We managed to peel off some of its hide. It took all those grenades for just a scratch. What kind of monster is this? It retreats into the smoke. It is gone for now. Has it left? Yes, it seems so. But it did not leave because we won. We need to keep moving. We drive through the night, still shaken. I cannot shake the shock of that encounter. Grenades are not enough. We need something stronger. Grenades are efficient, but we need more power. But bigger explosions mean more collateral damage. We cannot risk hurting innocent people. I need to get stronger. Maybe I can create something heavy to drop on them. Guns are realistic for now, but I will keep upgrading. We took down a wyvern, so we have plenty of stones. Wait, how did I get so many? It must be from the wyvern. I use the stones to upgrade my launch speed and capacity. I unlock the Pocket Dimension Lab. I need to check this out. We are almost in Gangnam. I open a portal to keep moving. It works. I will be right back. It is just a different space. What kind of ability is this? Combine and separate. I can register a rifle with a magazine as one item, and I can register a grenade without a pin. They exist in digital form, so they will not explode. That is good to know. I will register the grenades. I could actually create a new weapon, something stronger than a bomb. We hit a wall of cars. What on earth happened here? We have a problem. The road is blocked. We do not need to turn around. I just made a new weapon. I launch it at the cars. The explosion clears the path. The cars are blasted away. The road is clear. We drive through. What on earth did you create? The wall suddenly collapses, leaving everyone in shock. It should not have broken that easily. Something is wrong. Suddenly, a military vehicle tears through the wreckage. Are those soldiers? We need to be careful. It is a reunion. Kim Juyeon is finally found. She is the eldest of the Kim sisters, and she is tough. She always had a dream even back then. She swore to treat the sick no matter what. Her hard work paid off. She actually got into nursing school. Seeing her brother again, the tears just will not stop. They embrace, just relieved to be alive in this hell. Lee Yangsu introduced himself. He has been a huge help, but there is no time to celebrate. There is a patient in critical condition. He is hidden in a special space only I can access. Wait, are you an awakened? I have to open a door to enter the subspace. The hospital is the safest place to do this. We find the patient barely hanging on. She is stunned by the sheer scale of my ability. The patient is in bad shape, beaten and tortured. She says he will not survive. It is that bad. But she reveals her own secret. She is an awakened healer. Her level is low, but she can keep him alive. Now it is time to talk about what is really going on here. She confirms the situation is dire. She has even set up a lounge for us to rest. I am planning to bring my family into this space, but she refuses to leave. She is staying at the hospital. The real problem is not the patients, it is the leadership. The head of internal medicine is controlling people with poison. He is using his power to keep everyone in line, so he is controlling the poison ones like puppets. She has been siphoning mana stones to level up her healing. I will handle this quickly and you will see what my ability can really do. With a wave of my hand, the supplies start pouring in. The hospital director is suspicious about the new arrivals, wondering how they have so much food. He plots to wait for their supplies to dwindle so they will have to beg for help. But he realizes they have more than they could have possibly scavenged. He decides they must be ability users and plans to bring them under his control. He orders his subordinate to get the brother addicted to drugs or kill him if necessary. Meanwhile, the protagonist is searching for the right person to help. He discusses a plan to neutralize the threats and secure the hospital. He is shocked to learn about the bizarre and useless abilities some people have. He identifies Song Hyun-gu as the one major threat they need to handle. Song Hyun-gu is a powerhouse who built a wall of cars with his bare hands. The protagonist approaches him directly to settle things. Song Hyun-gu is cold and ready for a fight. He gives the protagonist an ultimatum: take his drug or die. The protagonist chooses a third option, trapping him in his own subspace. He strikes, but Song Hyun-gu activates a defensive shield. The protagonist uses his ability to launch a heavy object at him. He hits him with a high-spin bowling ball. The impact is massive, but Song Hyun-gu is still standing. The protagonist continues to drop heavy objects to wear him down. He keeps the pressure on, pinning him under the weight. He drops a massive stack of items, finally overwhelming him. He traps him tightly, rendering him immobile. He returns to the others' mission accomplished, but they find Mr. Yang-soo suffering from the effects of the poison. They realize he was poisoned during the food distribution. They find a small suspicious wound on his finger. The protagonist decides to move him into the subspace for safety. He seals the area to prevent any outside interference. Miraculously, the subspace seems to be curing the poison. Suddenly, they sense someone else trying to enter. The protagonist grants entry only to realize it is Song Hyun-gu. He immediately unregisters him, ejecting him from the space. He is stunned that his subspace was breached. He realizes the subspace is vulnerable to mental attacks. Song Hyun-gu is determined to settle the score. The connection to the minion is lost. The protagonist realizes the director has been tracking him all along. The final confrontation begins. The director begs for his life, but it is too late. The protagonist delivers a final decisive blow. With the immediate threat neutralized, we focus on clearing the addiction plaguing the hospital staff. I decide to use my subspace to transport everyone, even if it is just a finger, to get them out of harm's way. It is a risky plan, but we have no other choice if we want to save them. Suddenly, the subspace reacts and a mysterious figure appears. The man is confused, wondering where he is. Then he realizes he is back and the relief is palpable. He seems to have been lost in his own mind for quite some time. I step forward to greet him, grateful that he is safe. Song Hyun-gu walks in looking like he has been through hell. He confirms that he has finished the job and the threat is gone. Everyone is deeply grateful for his actions, as he saved us from having to clear the entire hospital. I know exactly how he took care of things, but I am just glad it is over. I check on him, apologizing for the intensity of the bowling ball attack earlier. He admits it was a shock, but he is surprisingly resilient. Even he is impressed by the sheer power of my abilities. He asks if I am planning to stay, and I have to be honest. He wants me to stay, but I have a mission to complete. I explain that I still need to find the rest of my family. He understands and wishes me luck, and I tell him we are heading to Yuljiro. His expression shifts instantly at the mention of Yuljiro. He is clearly worried about the situation there. He expresses his gratitude, once more promising to repay the kindness. We share a final firm handshake, promising to meet again. We leave the hospital, moving out into the dangerous world once more. The roads are cracked and desolate, a testament to the destruction. We drive through the ruins, focused on our goal. We discuss the mysterious wall Song Hyun-gu mentioned. It has to be an ability and we need to be ready for it. He describes how the wall rose from the ground, a terrifying sight. It is massive, making ground travel nearly impossible. But that is not all. The monsters in Yuljiro are different. He mentions skeletons, which catches me off guard. Undead that keep coming back to life no matter what. Yuljiro is definitely a dangerous place, but I am not worried about my sister. She is tough enough to handle anything. I am confident she could take down monsters even without powers. Suddenly, I get a call from inside the subspace. It is Kim Ju-yeon, and she sounds urgent. The soldier I saved has finally woken up. I need to see what he has to say. He is grateful for the rescue. He introduces himself as Colonel Han Kyung-ho. I am glad he is recovering well. He is confused about where he is seeing the military command outside. He is baffled by the lack of buildings. I explain that this is my subspace, a safe haven. He is still trying to process everything. We are currently in Gangnam thanks to my ability. He finally understands the situation. He asks to be let off, and I am surprised. I assure him we are not enemies. He trusts me, but he has a mission. He needs to reach the Joint Chiefs of Staff immediately. I agree to help him, but first he needs to eat. I offer him some food and he is stunned by the selection. He accepts the food, clearly starving. I tell him he is not leaving until he talks. He starts to open up and it is a grim tale. He is hesitant, but the food helps. I offer him more and he continues. He explains how the otherworld creatures appeared. It was not just monsters, it was everything. They attacked everything in sight, sparing no one. The government started recruiting Awakened to fight back. The units were finding some stability, at least for a while. Then everything changed when that guy appeared. He is clearly shaken by the memory. Nothing could harm that dragon. The command went silent and it was strange. We had no choice but to keep moving. We were desperate to survive. Many of our comrades died in the process. We recruited more Awakened as we traveled. When we finally arrived, the command was deserted. We found documents that revealed the truth. The word coup was written there. Some of the Awakened had seized control. The commander had sided with them too. I understand the situation, but we have to keep moving. He is ready to go and we are moving fast. Time is of the essence. He wonders how I managed to escape the dragon. He looks at me trying to figure it out. Suddenly a monster appears right in front of us. It is a massive beast and it is ready to attack. We have to act now if we want to survive. The battle is intense, but the protagonist is holding his own. He launches a heavy disc with incredible precision. The colonel watches in awe as the disc strikes. He cannot believe the power being displayed. Then the protagonist summons a military vehicle right out of thin air. The colonel is completely stunned by the impossible feat. The protagonist tells him to just relax and eat. He keeps the portal open so the colonel can monitor the outside. The colonel is left wondering what kind of ability he is witnessing. Outside, a massive orc roars in fury. It lunges forward with a devastating strike, but the protagonist's disc intercepts it perfectly. The impact is catastrophic, clearing the path ahead. The colonel watches the destruction in disbelief. The vehicle moves forward protected by the protagonist's power. He realizes he was not imagining things. The ability is relentless, firing objects at incredible speeds. It even harvests the mana stones from the fallen monsters. It is truly an insane level of power. They are approaching the Banpo Bridge area. But the situation there is just as dire. The protagonist warns that they need a new route. The colonel is just grateful to be alive. They prepare to move out again. They are making record time despite the ruins. The driver is impressed by the protagonist's skill. The driving is so intense it is dizzying. The colonel is just glad he is not feeling sick. The protagonist remains focused on the mission. They find a path forward. They confirm the route ahead, but then they spot something in the distance. A massive wall has risen from the ground. It is clearly a fortress wall and it is huge. They decide to investigate it anyway. They agree to drop the colonel off nearby. The colonel looks concerned about what he sees. They arrive at the drop-off point. The colonel thanks them for the safe travel. They wish each other well. The protagonist is ready for the next task. Yuljiro is the final destination. He checks his progress, needing more levels. He calculates the time needed to level up. He asks the military men to join him. They try to convince him to join the government instead. The protagonist refuses, stating family comes first. He is confident they can survive on their own. The colonel is left speechless. He considers the situation at the headquarters. He asks if they have any helicopters. The response is uncertain. The destruction is widespread. Only the first corps might still be standing. The director wonders if the government even exists. Everything is in the dark. An officer comes in with news. There is a visitor to see the director, a survivor from the 50th Signal Battalion. The director is shocked by the claim. The soldier salutes, ready to deliver his message. He hands over a document. The director's face turns pale as he reads it. The news is devastating. Back outside, the protagonist waits. They express their gratitude for his help. They have a request for him. They need a helicopter delivered. But there is a condition. They want him to join the military. He declines the offer immediately. The deal for the helicopter is off. He decides to leave. The military officers are stunned. He is going to handle it himself. They try one last time to negotiate. The condition remains. They are back on the road. He is just enjoying his drink. They discuss the situation at Seoul Station. Skeletons are blocking the way. They are a nuisance but not strong. They have a core that must be destroyed. The skeletons are relentless. He agrees to help clear the path. It sounds simple enough. He starts taking them out. The path begins to clear. The soldiers cheer for him. He gives them a thumbs up. The convoy moves forward. They warn him about the core. But there is something else. They warn him about the skeleton knight. He prepares for the encounter. He faces the threat head-on. It is far stronger than the others. The situation is dire, but the protagonist remains calm. Suddenly, a talking skeleton knight appears, shocking everyone. They cannot believe a skeleton is actually speaking to them. The protagonist crushes a magic stone, unlocking the ability to communicate. The skeleton knight introduces himself as Gawain, one of the 12 knights. Gawain questions the protagonist, wondering if he is a mage. The fight breaks out and the skeleton knight is incredibly fast. Gawain mocks the protagonist's attacks, calling them weak. The battle intensifies as they trade blows. Gawain challenges him, asking if this is his best effort. The protagonist unleashes a powerful counterattack. The soldiers watch in terror as their weapons fail to stop the knight. He uses his magic stones to unlock a new tracking ability. The soldiers take their shot aiming for the knight's chest. Gawain laughs, claiming he can dodge anything they throw. But the protagonist's precision is unmatched and he lands a hit. The knight is caught off guard, his armor cracking. Gawain is stunned, unable to track the protagonist's speed. The protagonist uses a calculated barrage of attacks. He hits the knight from every angle simultaneously. The soldiers are relieved, realizing physical impacts actually work. The protagonist warns that the fight is not over yet. The skeleton knight is tougher than any monster they have faced. He orders the others to fall back while the knight is distracted. A massive explosion rocks the battlefield. The skeleton knight is finally shattered. Even in defeat, the knight remains impressed. Valuable mana stones are left behind in the wreckage. The soldiers are in disbelief at what they just witnessed. They cheer for the protagonist's incredible victory. The military tries one last time to recruit him. He remains firm, putting his family above all else. He knows this was just one of many dangerous nights. He wonders why bowling balls are more effective than bullets. They discuss the mysterious walls rising in Yujiro. Finally, they reach the helicopter. The pilot grins, ready to fly into the unknown. The military director offers a Black Hawk helicopter, proving he sees them as reliable allies. It is a massive gesture, as even a 3-star general would hesitate to lend such a powerful asset. The protagonist admits he has never piloted one before, but his system interface is already helping him adapt. He discovers he can unlock the best driver ability for 50 magic stones, allowing him to master any vehicle. It is not a standard level up, but a registration of a new concept, which is fascinating. The military surprises them with a massive gift of 200 magic stones to help them on their journey. The protagonist is grateful for the support, telling his companion to use the remaining stones as needed. With the skill registered, he suddenly feels he knows exactly how to fly the chopper. He is ready to go, immediately ignoring the pilot's suggestion to take it slow. Meanwhile, he checks his system interface, realizing he has a moment to prepare before they depart. He reviews his inventory, noting he has 2 large magic stones and an enhancement stone. He reflects on the many skeletons he defeated during the rescue mission, which provided these resources. He realizes the enhancement stone can imbue objects with special attributes, just like the powerful skeleton knight he faced. Deciding to upgrade his most effective weapon, he registers the bowling ball for enhancement. They prepare for takeoff, bracing themselves for the dangerous flight ahead. The military officer salutes them, wishing them safety as they head off on their mission. The protagonist watches the propellers spin, fully focused on the task at hand, but something feels off as they look back at the base. He wonders why the soldiers look so concerned as they watch them leave. He contemplates the limitations of his subspace ability, which can only hold one target at a time. He has been storing large assets like logistics centers, but it is difficult to manage. However, he discovers he can register new objects into the subspace for a fee. Since they are currently in a military helicopter, he realizes he might be able to register it as well. Suddenly, they see a massive wall rising in the distance, blocking their path. The helicopter is forced to land as the environment shifts dramatically. The military officer is left in total shock, unable to comprehend what is happening. A dark, ominous castle looms over the city, signaling a new terrifying threat. Inside, a powerful skeleton king sits on his throne, questioning how a mere mortal could kill his knight Gawain. He realizes the mage who defeated Gawain is incredibly dangerous and must be eliminated. The king orders his remaining forces to prioritize the harvest before dealing with the intruder. He learns that humans have entered the castle, but he remains unbothered. He dismisses them as mere food for his kingdom, confident in his power. Back outside, the protagonist spots a fierce battle between a skeleton knight and another monster. The knight is fast and deadly, wielding crackling energy. The protagonist unleashes his enhanced power, his hands glowing with intense energy. He strikes with devastating force, sending shockwaves through the area. The pilot watches in awe, realizing the protagonist is fighting on a level beyond human comprehension. He is shocked to see his older sister, who is fighting the monsters with incredible strength. She stands tall, frustrated that her powerful strikes are not finishing off the relentless enemy. Sol Kim grew up obsessed with martial arts, constantly looking for a real challenge. She even practiced with her little brother, though he was no match for her. She dominated the playground, but she was always searching for something stronger. Her first real defeat in the ring only fueled her competitive fire. She mastered every style she could find, becoming an unstoppable force in the junior division. But her obsession with training pushed her body to the breaking point. She tore her ligaments, yet she refused to stop training through the pain. She finally debuted as a pro, though her path had been anything but easy. Now she is back in action, asking for the ceiling to be lowered so she can unleash her signature move. A powerful skeleton knight stood in their way, radiating dangerous energy. The knight challenged them, confused as to why his attacks could not land. Sol did not hesitate, mocking his slow movements. The knight realized this was not just raw speed, but a refined technique he could not match. Sol explained her secret. She just watches the fundamentals, the stance, and the shoulders. The knight was impressed, admitting that without the hierarchy he would have lost. He decided to spare her, promising to talk to the Night King to let her pass. It was an impossible favor, but he wanted to honor the one who taught him the importance of fundamentals. Then in a sudden flash the knight shattered into pieces. Saul stood there confused as a bowling ball laid waste to the powerful enemy. She could not believe a simple bowling ball had done what she could not. Mana stones scattered across the ground ripe for the taking. They were quickly absorbed into the system, fueling their next move. Saul felt the power surge, ready for whatever came next. The helicopter hovered, waiting for them to escape the closing walls. They reunited with their ally number 3, who was surprised to see them still kicking. They took a moment to refuel, sharing a meal in the middle of the chaos. They discussed her abilities, wondering how she managed to stay so strong. She just shrugged, claiming her physical stats were naturally top tier. They were relieved to have survived, but the mission was not over yet. Number 3 was baffled by her progress, asking if she was using some kind of cheat code. They had to move fast. The fortress walls were closing in on the ceiling. They needed to grab those magic stones before the path was completely blocked. Suddenly the light vanished and everything went dark. The helicopter took off, barely clearing the shifting environment. Projectiles rained down, forcing them to dodge and weave through the air. The pilot was panicking, realizing their attacks were not even scratching the target. Saul considered using her subspace to store the helicopter, but it was too risky. They were running low on magic stones, making every decision critical. They wondered if the entire city of Yujiro was being pulled into this nightmare. The knight had warned her she would die if she stayed, and now they were racing against time. The Night King clearly knew something, and that made him dangerous. 5 minutes. That was all they had to find the king before it was too late. The pilot pushed the helicopter to its absolute limit. Inside the dark castle, the Skeleton King received word of his knight's defeat. He was furious that Lionel had fallen without landing a single blow. He ordered the harvest to begin, unbothered by the intruders. His subordinates confirmed the humans were already on their way. The king waited on his throne, ready to crush them himself. Back in the chopper, the pilot was hit with sudden, overwhelming motion sickness. He barely managed to keep control as they approached the castle. Saul was struggling too, vowing never to ride a helicopter again. Suddenly, a terrifying monster lunged out of the shadows, ready to tear them apart. He is caught off guard by a sudden, terrifying threat. A monstrous creature lunges from the shadows, ready to tear them apart, but his sister steps in, delivering a powerful blow to the beast. She follows up with a devastating strike, sending shockwaves through the area. The creature is sent flying, crashing into the distance. They stand at the entrance of a dark, ominous castle. He is relieved they survived, but he senses something is wrong. She warns him that the danger is far from over. They look ahead, seeing a massive army of monsters waiting for them. The sheer number of enemies is overwhelming. He turns to his sister, realizing they need a new plan. He suggests she retreat into his subspace for safety. She just grins, clearly enjoying the chaos. She refuses to back down, eager for more combat. Then she charges in, leaving him behind to watch in disbelief. She leaps into the fray, her movements fluid and deadly. She stomps on a monster, crushing it under her boot. She dances through the horde, taking them down one by one. Her strikes are precise, each one ending a life. She effortlessly dodges a counterattack, landing another blow. She is a whirlwind of destruction, tearing through the enemy lines. She swings with incredible force, clearing the path, but a monster manages to bite her neck, catching her off guard. She does not flinch, instead grabbing the creature and tossing it aside. She continues her assault, fueled by her adrenaline. She looks back at him, her eyes glowing with excitement. He watches in awe, wondering how she can be so strong. He checks his system, looking for a way to support her. He finds a way to upgrade their gear, spending his resources. She finishes off the last of the immediate threats. She takes a breath, looking for the next challenge. She calls out for more, eager to test her limits. The remaining monsters hesitate, sensing her power. He activates the new weapon, imbuing it with electric energy. The weapon crackles with power, ready for battle. He hands it to her, impressed by the result. She takes it, testing its weight and balance. They argue briefly, but their bond remains strong. Meanwhile, the Skeleton King watches them from his throne. He recognizes the threat they pose to his kingdom. He decides to summon his most powerful knight, Lancelot. He knows he must eliminate them before they reach him. He prepares the ritual, sacrificing his own power. He knows the consequences, but he has no other choice. He fears the magician's power, knowing it surpasses his own. He commands Lancelot to destroy the intruders. The ritual begins, drawing energy from the surroundings. The magic stones shatter, fueling the summon. Lancelot appears, a knight of immense power and skill. Back in the hall, she admires her new weapon. She is ready to face whatever comes next. He notices her neck, concerned about the bite. She dismisses his worry, focusing on the mission. They share a moment of vulnerability, acknowledging the risks. She promises to stay human no matter what. Then they see him, the Night King, waiting for them. He mocks them, questioning their motives. They stand their ground, refusing to be intimidated. He warns them of the consequences of their actions. He realizes they will not talk, so he prepares to fight. Lancelot steps forward, ready to engage. She steps up, eager to test her new weapon. She warns him not to interfere, wanting this fight for herself. She clashes with Lancelot, their weapons meeting with a spark. The force of the impact sends dust flying. Her weapon holds, proving its durability. She realizes the strength of her opponent. They continue to trade blows, neither yielding. She questions the weapon's quality but keeps fighting. He realizes the true nature of their enemy. Lancelot is not just strong, he is a master of combat.